Once, in the kingdom of Persia, there was a young Jewish girl named Esther. She was kind and gentle, and she lived with her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai was the one who had raised her since she was little. Now, Esther and Mordecai were Jewish, so they quietly followed God and their faith, even though the people in Persia believed in different gods. One day, the king of Persia, King Xerxes, decided to find a new queen because Queen Vashti had disobeyed him and was removed as queen. He invited the most beautiful women in the land to the palace, and after seeing them all, the king chose Esther to be his queen. Esther was surprised and a little scared, but she trusted that God had a plan for her. She followed Mordecai's advice, and she kept her Jewish identity a secret. In the palace, Esther lived among beautiful rooms and fine clothes. Although she missed her people, she began to settle into her life as queen, while Mordecai checked on her from the palace gates. Mordecai had an enemy in the palace named Haman. Haman was a proud, powerful official, and he demanded that everyone bow to him. But Mordecai, who believed in God, refused to bow to anyone but God. Haman was furious and decided to take revenge. He came up with an evil plan to destroy not only Mordecai but also all the Jewish people in Persia. Haman tricked the king into signing a law allowing anyone to harm the Jewish people on a certain day. The king, not realizing what this meant for Esther's people, agreed. When Mordecai heard, he was heartbroken and terrified. He tore his clothes and prayed to God, sending a message to Esther, asking her to speak to the king and save her people. Esther was troubled and afraid. In those days, no one could go to the king without being invited, or they risked death, unless the king extended his golden scepter. Mordecai's message reminded her, maybe you were made queen for just this moment. Esther thought long and hard and then made a brave decision. She asked the Jewish people to fast and pray with her for 3 days. She knew she needed God's help to be strong for what was ahead. On the 3rd day, Esther dressed in her royal robes and walked into the throne room. As she approached, the king looked up, pleased, and held out his golden scepter. Esther invited him and Haman to a special banquet she had prepared. At the banquet, she invited them again to another feast the next day, promising to reveal her request then. At the second banquet, the king asked her, "What is it you want, Queen Esther?" Esther took a deep breath and bravely told the king of Haman's plan, revealing that she was Jewish and asking him to spare her people. "Please save my life and the lives of my people," she said. The king was shocked and furious, realizing that Haman had tricked him. He ordered that Haman be punished and issued a new law to protect the Jewish people from harm. The Jewish people were saved because of Esther's courage. She had risked her life to save her people, trusting God to guide her through. Her story became one of hope, faith, and courage, teaching that sometimes we are in special places for important reasons, and with faith, we can make a difference.